Welcome back, everyone. I'm Joe Miller here along with Martin Linger as the Super Hot Crew take on Fnatic. But before we get into that game, after playing with a number of pro squads and even briefly filling in for Fnatic's xPeke at the Season 1 Championships, wewillfailer has had a great showing for the Super Hot Crew. Let's take a closer look at this veteran support's growth from team to team, both on and off the Rift.
I've been playing with MrRalleZ for a long time before. Then when they were looking for support, he instantly thought of me because we've had a history before and we were quite good together. It just instantly clicked and he decided to take me. If you look back at my history, I've been with many of the good teams like Fnatic at Season 1.
In the Season 1 finals, Peke couldn't make it for the first day, so we had our good friend wewillfailer with us.
I was super nervous because wewillfailer is not a main mid laner, he was a main support.
It was fun because I could be there and I was a part of it. But at the same time I had like the worst games of my life because I had to play something I'm not used to.
Even if the performance from him was not the best, he really saved our skins because if we didn't have anyone, we wouldn't have been able to play, obviously, and not win the Season 1 championship.
Even though I helped them, I wasn't really the guy winning it. They wanted me to stay in the team as a sub, but then I decided to just go on my own. And if you look at in the end back, they've had 3 or 4 support changes. And I think if I just sticked with them and just been patient, that I maybe had a chance to be a part of that, what they are right now. I'm serious about everything. I'm serious about my studies because I just don't want to fail at anything. I think for me, balancing LOL and my girlfriend is really doable, but studying is really hard because you have to think like, I'm 23 years old. That means that I need to make sure I can say, okay, I got a future ready. All my free time is going into it right now because of the exams, so it's really difficult. But I think in the end, if I just keep trying, I think I'm gonna make it. The word toxic or team killer is following me around for so long because I had a very try-hardy personality. I tried just way too hard, and besides looking at my own game, I was also looking at everyone else's game, and that really gets into people's nerves.
At least when we played with him, like he had a really strong opinion about himself and how it should be played.
With growing up, you let those things go. I didn't want to be that flamer anymore. I didn't want to be that annoying guy anymore. So I tried to work on it and try to stay as positive as possible.
It might have changed like the Super Hot Crew. It seems like it's working out really well.
That's something he have improved on a lot, and that's something he recognized himself, which is also another reason why I picked him up in Super Hot Crew.
Being in Super Hot Crew gave me a feeling that I've never had before. I feel respected, and that's why I will stay with these guys as long as they want me to stay with them.
Really great to see how far wewillfailer's come, and certainly coming up big for the Super Hot Crew.
And mad respect for changing his ways and knowing, okay, I did something wrong, I can fix it. And now, of course, he's playing so well for Super Hot Crew this season.
Yeah, indeed. So we're getting close to the game, guys. And week 3 for the Super Hot Crew, last week, of course, started out nicely with a strong victory over Fnatic. They, however, really didn't turn up in their Friday game against Alliance.
Yeah, no. So going back to the Fnatic win, of course, it was actually the game where SELFIE, he made his CS record on KL, 625 CS, the longest game of the summer split, of course. And it was overall just a very strong game by Super Hot Crew, where they showed strong team fights in the late game and also very good objective control, took a lot of towers away from Fnatic on the map here. Against Alliance, however, things went a little bit more downhill for them. After a fair enough start, we can say, in the early game, teleport came in from Froggen, teleport came in from Wicked, the ganks from Shook, everything just went against Super Hot Crew. They fell too far behind and couldn't do anything and actually lost the game.
I have to ask you though, even with their obvious strengths and how well they're playing right now, can we actually call the Super Hot Crew a top 3 team in Europe?
It's of course very hard to say already after just 3 weeks, also because there's been a little bit up and down for Super Hot Crew, but I definitely think they have the talent and the potential to be a top 3 team here. And we can just say they have improved so much compared to last split, and as long as they can continue to improve, they will be a top team in Europe. And we have to also give them credit on individual play. They have some very strong playmakers. Mimer is one of them up in this top lane here. Last split was a bit of a hit and miss for him. He had some good games, he had some bad games, but this split here, he's just been performing so well. He's third in the EU LCS when it comes to KDA, and one of the reasons could be that he's no longer shot calling for SUPA crew. He was last split. Impaler actually said this on, I believe it was Twitter, that now it's wewillfailer and Impaler doing the shot call, so Mimer just full focus on himself and he's really using it to play so well. And of course Rengar is now open, we might see it from the Rengar King himself. And the last thing with SUPA crew they improved, they just focus so much more on towers now and objectives as a team. Of course, credit to the coach, they always talk about how much he's helping them, and we just see it here. They're the second best team in Europe when it comes to taking down towers and inhibitors.
Brilliant stuff so far from them. On the other side of the coin, though, Millennium showed that they're most definitely a strong mid-team table. Mid-table team, if I can get that in the right order. After they last week took down the Copenhagen Wolves, but then weren't able to keep that going and lost out to SK Gaming.
And I just have to 100% agree with you, Joe. They are such a solid middle team. They beat the teams under them, but they lose to the teams above them in the rankings, and one of the reasons is they're very inconsistent in the way they play. Kerp, one game he's going to go 10-0 on Fizz, the next game he goes 0-5, so you never really know what to expect. And the thing about Millennium, I was looking at some of the stats, and they're actually the team in Europe with the lowest average minions per game. Under 1,000 minions killed per game for the entire team. And it's a bit weird looking at how they've been playing, and also some of the games have actually been fairly long for Millennium, but it's simply because Kerp and Kevin are in the mid lane, in the top lane, the two lowest, actually, of all in Europe on CS here. And it comes down to the play style. Kerp, for instance, play very roam-focused. He likes to make plays around the map so he loses farm. Yeah. Kevin, at the same time, often actually falls behind in lane swaps, and then once they get back to the normal lanes, he farms for a little bit, then he groups with the team and just team fights. He never split push, and therefore he never really gets a lot of CS.
Well, we'll see how important they are for Millennium this game. We're going to check out the starting lineups before we get to the match, though. On the blue side, it's the super hot crew with Mimer in the top lane, Impaler in the jungle, SELFIE in the mid lane, and the duo of MrRalleZ and wewillfailer.
And on the red side, we have Millennium. Kevin, of course, in the top lane, KottenX as the jungler, Kerp in the mid lane, Creaton as AD carry, and Jree is on support.
So the players are about to select their champion. So let's check out who you voted for to win this one. With 63% of the vote, Super Hot Crew leads Millennium. I expected it maybe to be a little higher, but as you've said, Millennium have proved already they are a very solid mid-table team. And these are the kind of wins that they need almost to make that next step.
Exactly. Actually, for both teams, SUPA crew, if they want to really show they are a top team in Europe, have to win these games. Of course, Millennium, who want to step away from this middle table, they want to make sure they can get a good position coming into the playoffs, maybe even going for Worlds. So games like these are very, very important for both.
So as we get towards Champion Select then, what are we expecting to see from these two teams in terms of bans and picks? Where is the focus going to be?
So after Millennium lost pretty hard to Kassadin last week, I would actually expect them to ban it this time, don't go Fizz into it again. And then I'm looking at this Bram pick here, because Millennium is a team who likes to leave one of the OP picks open, let the other team first pick it, and then take two strong picks themselves and have a counter pick ready. So I could actually see them leave it open. Instead, focus the Yasuo ban, of course, against SELFIE in the mid lane. Maybe a LeBlanc ban as well. Just hit him all three bans onto the mid lane here. Or could also, of course, be a jungle ban. Now, in the new changes here, Kha'Zix been nerfed, jungle been changed a little bit. So we only pretty much have Evelynn, Lee Sin and Elise as the top picks here.
Also have to keep Rengar in mind. We talked about that earlier on. He is, of course, available this week. And Mimer is pretty much the Rengar player in Europe.
He is. It's just a little bit weird. He actually never played it in a competitive match.
Yeah.
We worked, when I was on team with him in NIP, we actually were going to play at Gamescom. But then he got disabled again, so we couldn't play him. We practiced him for such a long time, and it was really, really annoying. So I hope he's going to play it. I know for a fact he would be able to pull it out because he's such a strong Rengar player, even though he might not be the best fit for the top lane. At the moment, of course, we see Shyvana, Jax, Renekton all the time. I really hope he's going to play it, that's all.
Well, he seems excited today. He's been clapping his hands for a good solid 10 minutes here, so
You can see it in his eyes.
We may just see that Rengar come through. Of course, Millennium could just ban the Rengar out and completely spoil the party. But we also have to talk about the fact that Millennium, even on blue side games, have been banning out Kassadin.
Yeah.
Okay, they let it through once, where they'll probably never do that again.
No, exactly. I really think they're going to ban away, even though, again, they are the team to leave the OP picks and just say, we have some weird counter ready, you won't expect it, and therefore we're going to win the game. It just didn't work out for them. So be safe, ban Kassadin away, focus on something else. And for Super Hot Crew, if you look at their bans in the past few weeks, they mix it up a lot. It's very hard to predict. They always seem to target just individual players and not champions itself.
So who's the player to target then on Millennium? I mean, we've seen Kerp, as you said, inconsistency has really been the name of his game.
Ziggs could be one.
Ziggs, I think so as well. We heard from the last game how annoying it is, even when you're thousands and thousands gold ahead, how hard it is to close out against it. Ziggs. We're going to find out, though, as the first bans come out, and, well, you weren't wrong. Ziggs taken away. Also, Evelyn aimed at KottenX. On the other side, Yasuo, something that's been banned a lot against SELFIE, and the red side Kassadin ban too.
So far, we hit pretty much every ban except for the Evelyn here, and with just one jungle ban now, when there are 3 viable junglers, if you ask all the pro junglers here in Europe with the 3 top ones, we need to see if Millennium then wants to try and ban something out here as well for jungler, or they're just going to trade 1 for 1 and give at least all these into Super Hot Crew, pick the other one themselves. Well,
Bram was the 3rd and final ban here for the Super Hot Crew, so he's done well at being banned so far. 2 games out of 2. Not going to see him here in these first couple of games, but of course we've still got 1 more after this, so who knows. LeBlanc also taken away, a champion that SELFIE really went towards in the first half of the year in the spring split, but also something that Kerp can definitely play. It's left Jax open, and Super Hot Crew take that first.
Instantly locking it in. Both junglers again, Lee Sin and Elise are open here, so Super Hot Crew, they don't lose anything by first picking the Jax. It could be the reason for Millennium to, if they wanted to, could have banned a jungler here. Super Hot Crew could first pick it, whoever was left, and therefore 2 picks now from Millennium. However, Jax was being locked in, and Bram also banned away by Super Hot Crew. Surprised me a little bit. I actually thought they would try and go for it.
Not today, apparently. On the other side, Lucian picked up for that man on your screen, Creaton, and also Lee Sin for KottenX. Now, if you think back to the game against the Copenhagen Wolves, he was brilliant. Him and Svenskeren impressed us, I think, the most on Lee Sin last week. Ended up 3-1-16 with the Lee Sin in that match against the Wolves. So we'll see if we can bring that kind of form to the table here today against the Super Hot Crew.
And it's a great thing about both picks from Millennium. You don't actually show anything. Lee Sin is considered the best early game jungler. Lucian is considered the best all-around AD carry. So you don't show your hand in any way, and you actually have 2 very safe picks which can perform for a long time.
Got Malzahar.
Yeah, no.
No, don't think that one is going to be coming out today, but will we see Karthus, of course, back in the new-looking Karthus? Some fantastic job that the guys are doing with that one. He's
Makes him better.
Pretty fantastic. But in the end, they switch away. Taking Thresh here, we talked a lot about wewillfailer. Saw that video from him earlier on, and he has been very, very good with Thresh.
And it's a champion which teams keep giving to him. I mean, Millennium could have early picked it here, take it away from him, but no, give it. He's played pretty much every game except for, I believe, 3 games in the last few weeks on this champion here. So for him, it's definitely a comfort pick. It's his #1 pick here, and Super Hot Crew can be very happy. Also, with SELFIE on Kayle, we saw him against Fnatic last week, where he had the CS record for the summer split, and we know as long as he gets to the team fights, gets to the late game point, he can carry the team.
So for Millennium, then, where do they go next? Knowing that Kayle is locked in, or do they go for something against it? Either way, they'll take Leona first of all for Jree in the bottom lane. Of course, we'll be paired up with Lucian, and Kevin also going back to his trusty Aurelia.
So Kevin on Aurelia here. Normally the matchup against Jax, straight up, no outplay, just perfect game for both champions. Jax will actually win the laning phase, but then lose out when it comes to team fights. However, there's so much room for outplay when it comes to this Aurelia pick here from Kevin. If you dodge around the counter-strike and therefore land your stun onto Jax, land your true damage with Aurelia, you can actually win the laning the laning phase here. So we need to see how he wants to play it, or if we're just going to see the lane swap and both of them have to try and farm the jungle for as long as possible.
And both Irelia games have been really successful for him as well. The match against the Copenhagen Wolves plus the win against Gambit back in week 1 played the Irelia both of those times in the top lane, so we'll see if he can keep that record going. On the other side here, the Super Hot crew on to their final 2 picks. Looking for a jungle, looking for an AD carry, and Twitch and Elise would fit that mold perfectly.
Yeah, again, they just saved the jungle pick because they knew it was going to be Elise. No reason to pick it early on here, get all the comfort picks they wanted, and now Twitch for MrRalleZ. So if you look just at the lineup itself from Super Hot Crew, you're really looking at late game fights here. Like Kayle, of course, scales so well, Jax, Twitch, all these 3 champions here will be so strong in late game team fights, or even split pushing. You can have Kayle in one lane, you can have Jax in a different lane, and then Twitch just sneaking around. We saw Reckless do it in the last game, finding picks everywhere. So Super Hot Crew have a very strong combo as long as they can make sure they don't fall too far behind early on, because the laning phase for them, depending on what Millennium will lock in for the mid lane here, could be a little bit risky.
And Jree doing his usual flashing through every champion under the sun. We'll see exactly which one he ends up going with here for Kerp in that mid lane up against SELFIE's Kayle. Twisted Fate, of course, a champion that we've been seeing more and more of, always going to have an impact, and that will be locked in here. So Kerp going to play the Twisted Fate against SELFIE's Kayle in the end.
And I really like the TF pick here because we see so many small fights in the games now. So Twisted Fate can always join in around the map. He has wave clear, of course. You do a lot of damage to towers. You can even split push yourself. You bring a lot of different things to the table here. And actually, going back to my point about Super Hot Crew in the early game, we actually just look at the matchups, the Jax versus Irelia. We just talked about how it's a skill matchup, but slightly in favor of Jax, so that should be no problem, or should go well for Mimer. In the mid lane, SELFIE on Kayle, very strong laning champion as well. He will do well. And then because you have Thresh with the Twitch in the laning phase as well in the bottom lane, you can farm. It's very hard for Leona to actually get onto you before level 6 because of the flay from Thresh here to stop him going in. So Super Hot Crew scaling really well, and also very good laning phase at least for them here. But of course the lineup from the side of Millennium can do a lot of picks here with both Twisted Fate, Leona and Lee Sin catching out targets.
Well, guys, we have got the lineups in, so who do you think has the strongest? Tweet at LOL Esports, LOL Esports, of course, with hashtag SHC win or hashtag MIL win, and we'll check in a little while just to see if these lineups that we've had picked out have swayed your votes any. And I want to again touch on Kerp because we said that his CSing is down there with the lowest. And the fact is that Twisted Fate actually fits into his style really well. He's a player that loves to roam. Once we get to level 6, Kerp's going to be in his element here with Twisted Fate.
100%, but it's high risk, high reward with Kerp because he wants to make all these plays here. If it goes wrong for him, if he dies early on, he falls very far behind and it's hard for him to come back.
Well, we are going to be getting into the game here shortly. The Super Hot Crew taking on Millennium. And of course, it's a big one here for both teams. As you mentioned, the Super Hot Crew trying to stay active at the top of the league somewhat, and Millennium looking to break away from the troublesome middle of the table area that they can't seem to break at the moment.
Millennium basically want to be more consistent in the play. Like this high reward, high risk, high reward, it's great when it works. But they actually need to move away from this part. I think Kerp needs to maybe look at his playstyle a little bit and see if he can play more safe. If he can find some other ideas or other champions than a Fizz, which he's pretty much the only guy, he's the only guy to play this champion in Europe at the moment. And sometimes it works, sometimes it simply goes completely wrong for him. And a champion like this could be a little bit risky. Maybe he wants to change it up if he wants to be more consistent.
One man that we've not talked all that much about is actually KottenX. We mentioned him briefly there as he locked in that Lee Sin, but he is a player that if he is on a good day, if KottenX has a good day, Millennium generally do really well. But again, it falls down to this inconsistency.
Exactly. It's the same deal here. KottenX, he's very good at ganking early on, and if he gets a few kills, the entire team get rolling. If not, it's hard for him to do anything.
Well, here we are then going into game. The Super Hot Crew taking on Millennium. Our second matchup here of the day. Into week 4 already of the LCS. Time flies when you're having fun, Deficio.
I agree with you, Joe. I agree. And looking just early level 1 items here. Nothing special actually from anyone. Both top laners with Thorn's Blade looking to be aggressive on towards each other. We need, of course, to see if we're going to have a lane swap here. And a lot of roaming with both AD carries just freezing the lane, each side of the map, and then a lot of action in the mid lane with everyone else.
Oh, that's a bit of a swing in the votes. Mid-60s it was before for the Super Hot Crew. Now 3/4 of you thinking that they are going to be able to win this game. And they're already showing a bit of aggression here, moving forward up towards the Millennium red buff. They were spotted out by that ward. Saw the ward go down, so they know that they've been spotted in that area. Will they stick around here for the red, or are they going to move in? There's an early ward just to see if the lane swap's going to come.
Simply to spot if Millennium recalls and then run from the base to the top lane with either the dual lane or Kevin to spot out what's going on here. So a lot actually, early wards from Super Hot Crew in the red side of Millennium to see, because they really want to make sure they can decide, do we want a lane swap or not here? Where do we see Millennium going? And for now, they're in the bottom lane.
Yep, Millennium headed down as Kevin and Mimer going to meet each other for the first time there. Mimer just pretty much face-checking into that brush. There is a ward there in the tri-bush as well, so Millennium will see that the Super Hot Crew are coming back into that red buff area, which means that will be secured here for both Mimer and Impaler. On the other side, unsurprisingly, KottenX going to take the safe option of going for the enemy red.
Now, because Super Hot Crew were the team to start the lane swap, their top laner is already with the jungler, getting some XP in here, helping to do the red buff and can now jungle together. Where Kevin, you notice him on the top here, he's actually at the wolf camp now. He's been having to run entire way down to get some of the CS and actually start later on getting some farm, getting some experience, so slightly behind. Very, very small amount because Super Hot Crew started the lane swap, so at least for them a small win here early on.
You see instant aggression coming out of SELFIE, although he catches the wild cards and will end up being both of them around about half HP. We should also mention that SELFIE going with cleanse for this game, so wanting to have the safe route out from those Twisted Fate gold cards.
Very smart. Also, if KottenX wanted to be very aggressive around this mid lane here, you can just get to safety. You can also cleanse and then ult yourself afterwards, which is a very strong thing for SELFIE here. So I like the cleanse pickup for him. And now Super Hot Crew actually moving towards this top side here. Just want to do golems and also stay around in case something should happen near this tower up top.
Well, they've been pushing that tower. We'll see about that one right now. Pretty much frozen in the middle of the lane. Although, as I said, they start just hammering them down to push that pressure and lose the wave here. And 4 men up top, why not go for some damage onto that tower? Same can't be said for Millennium at this point, although they are headed south. Or are they going to visit this mid lane? SELFIE, as I said, flash cleanse is gone, so he's got 2 outs from this one. Actually will come around the corner, spots the both of them waiting off to the side, and Spidey senses from SELFIE.
100%. A little bit lucky, maybe just wanted to move out to see if anything going on and just spotted 2 members, so he didn't have to use any summons here. Smart play, we could also say from SELFIE, expecting the gank because nobody was top lane and nobody was bottom lane yet.
Working out really nicely, and that will be the first tower of the game going down shortly here in favor of the Super Hot Crew. Just want to let those minions go down so they don't push too far out. Meanwhile, Jax and Elise on the top side of the Millennium jungle. Millennium's jungler and top laner are actually moving into their own jungle at this point of things, but on that bottom side.
It's basically both of them just farming away. Down this bottom lane here, Jree is actually decided to cancel his recall. Now he's gonna recall away once he hit the level 3 mark here, because Creaton can now freeze the lane. You see the big wave here is gonna push up towards him. He's just gonna stay here, keep killing a few minions and make sure that the lane is frozen for as long as possible. Therefore Jree again decides to troll me and just cancel the recall. However, he's still staying far back, don't want to push the lane for now. So Super Hot Crew will take the top tower, can then recall if they want to and actually go down to this bottom lane, get some help from maybe the jungler, and then push the lane all the way out so Creaton won't be able to get all this farm.
And we'll see if Kevin actually heads up towards that top lane. He's just recalled. You can see that he is moving towards that top side of the map, although it's going to be pushing past the halfway point in his favor though, so good times for Kevin. He'll finally get himself some good time to be farming up, although Jax is also headed in there. Mimer coming up with the double Doran's Blade. Same on the other side for Kevin.
And a very, very big thing here for Super Hot Crew, to manage to bounce the wave on the tower up top before they killed it. So it's actually pushing towards them in the top lane. That's why Kevin won't be able to go up and freeze the lane by himself. He's going to just have to pick up a few CS and then let it all their minions move down to Mimer, who can then pick it up and therefore get a CS lead and a small experience lead as well.
So look at this Impaler coming around to that mid lane, or thinking about possibly coming to the mid lane. Sadly for him, we've already seen Kerp backing away to pick up his chalice. And in the his opposite number, as we see an early Dragon start here. SELFIE starting off with those Berserker groups. This is going to be a 4-man Dragon attempt with MrRalleZ and SELFIE now joining in. It's going to be down to half HP before they really get a sniff of this one. There's the ward coming down. Jree and Creaton now moving in from the side. The Dragon is very low. The teleport coming down as well. Dragon going very low, and it will be finished off in the end by the Super Hot crew. But will they get out of the pit? Mimer now coming down. They flash away from the sun, but he jumps in. The hook not quite landing onto Jree, who is very, very low here. KottenX goes in onto wewillfailer. Will kick him one final time to pick up first blood, but can they get any more? There's a leap strike over the wall onto an allied, and that will be the end of that one. Super Hot crew get the Dragon, but lose the first blood.
And wewillfailer, he was just stuck in the Dragon pit. He already flashed, so couldn't get over the wall, and therefore KottenX, once he actually arrived to the fight, went straight for him, picked up the kill here. But very aggressive move early on from Super Hot crew. There was no pink ward for them, so they didn't know if there was any wards for Millennium. And at the same time, it just worked out for them because KottenX was in the top side of the jungle farming away, because of course Kevin was in the top and had to teleport down before he could join in. So Super Hot crew get the Dragon. They lose the first blood, of course.
Here we go though, Destiny is going to be popped. MrRalleZ now in trouble. He's got nothing to escape with here. Flash and heal both down, and Kerp will pick up that one. And the first use of Destiny working out for Millennium.
Yeah, and a very, very nice start here for Kerp. We always talk about how he likes to roam. First one, success, picks up a kill. Good start for him. Mid lane as well won't even take too much damage because he can come in here and it's only one wave SELFIE can actually hit the tower with.
Little start on the kills for Millennium, and that one actually putting them ahead now in gold. Impaler invading on the red buff. He took that at level 1 as well, don't forget. And looks like he won't be challenged for it a second time around. We'll see if KottenX is able to get over and steal away that Super Hot crew red buff, or whether he'll be limited on that front.
And Impaler now still around his red buff actually decides to move away. There was a big wave in the top side here if they wanted to try and pressure onto Kevin once he was going to farm the wave. But because Mimer, of course, is only level 5, it's a bit too early to just dive onto enemy top laner. So safe, or wisely enough, doesn't want to go up here and punish Kevin when the big wave actually hits the tower.
Have a look down some of the CS here, because pretty close on all fronts except one. As Mimer gonna do a lot of damage here onto Kevin. Not got the ability just yet to actually kill him off, but the big difference, 53 to 35 CS between the AD carries. Of course, MrRalleZ went down after that twisted fake gank onto the bottom lane, but he's struggling right now.
Yeah, and it's the thing we saw earlier where Creaton was freezing the bot lane and just farming. And up in the top side, Super Hot crew sent 4 members up to just hit the tower, get it very low, and Super Hot crew took down the tower very early, so it didn't get the same amount of farm onto MrRalleZ. And then also with the Dragon being started, as soon as he got to the bottom lane, they moved for Dragon, so he didn't pick up any CS as well, and therefore he's now behind.
Ping's coming down onto KottenX, so they know that he is in fact invading onto that red buff. See what he can actually get there. Thresh and Twitch both going to be around. There's a red buff spawning in. Will he be able to stick around for it? Jree clearing out the Tribush pink ward as well. And KottenX is sticking around for this one, but will wewillfailer and MrRalleZ come in? wewillfailer does come around the corner. There's the smite though. KottenX able to take that and hops over to the ward in the Dragon Pit as well. Nicely done.
Yeah, and now Mimer actually towards this mid lane here. Won't be able to do too much unless they want to dive. There's of course ulti onto SELFIE here in case they're going straight for Kerp, but now they're just hitting the tower.
Locked up under the tower there. While SELFIE does have intervention to get away from it, as Millennium start to move a few men back to defend this mid lane, and Super Hot crew decide to back away from that one, not wanting to maybe bite off a little bit more than they can chew at this stage. It's Kevin here, level 6 compared to Mimer's level 5. Although Impaler does give him the cover, so no real problems there for Mimer. He'll just go back all the way around the jungle and take another wave.
So with the golems and all the minions Kevin just picked up in his top lane here, he actually managed to get ahead of Mimer, but now you see him also hit the level 6 points. So both top laners very close in experience, and once Mimer actually picks up all the farm up here, should try and catch up a little bit into CS at least. Freezing it for now.
Waiting out on that one. And we'll continue to try and hold it on his side of the map so that Kevin's not getting all those freebies. 10 CS behind right now, so not really a big problem for him. The mid lane SELFIE has actually started to pull away, and we see now KottenX coming up to the top.
A very smart move. Because Mimer is freezing the lane, they want to make sure Kevin can move up and now push it into the tower, reset the entire wave, and they don't want to risk a gank onto Kevin or something, so KottenX just staying around here, making sure Kevin can do what he wants.
Cheeky little stun there on Mimer. KottenX is going to start his recall. at least nowhere to be seen. Actually, on the bottom side of the map there was Impaler, and Kevin actually using his ultimate here to clear out that wave as quickly as he possibly can. Meanwhile, down in the bottom, which saw that Twisted Fate gank being the death of MrRalleZ earlier on, has remained a little quieter for now, but one thing that stayed the same, MrRalleZ is still behind.
Yeah. There's actually one thing I forgot to mention for the reason he was behind in CS. Of course, he died to the gank from Kerp here, setting him even further behind. So, good job from Millennium so far. Trying to shut down MrRalleZ on this Twitch here, trying to delay his Blade of the Ruined King where he can start sneaking around and finding targets.
KottenX now back onto the map. He's himself hit level 6, and Kerp is actually moving north as well. So, well, maybe expecting that dive onto Mimer. I'm not sure that it's actually going to happen. They pinged to say that Twisted Fate was actually missing, and they've got a cheeky little pink ward up by the red buff. So, actually spotting KottenX and Kerp moving towards that top side. And there's the Tribush ward as well that will see KottenX even further moving towards that lane. He's just going to go try and get himself some jungle farm now.
SELFIE moving in towards him though, he's level 9 now. Kerp in his bottom lane again.
Oh, they managed to lock up MrRalleZ for a second time. I can't see him escaping. He gets quite far behind. The Ignite is ticking away, and I think he will survive that one, but with very little health remaining. I think about 70 or 80 HP left at the end of that one, so nicely done to avoid it. We see the Super Hot crew pushing that mid lane outer turret. They'll take that here, whilst Millennium are doing the Dragon.
Yeah, so with MrRalleZ out of the picture here, Millennium know they can run towards the Dragon. They knew the mid tower was already gone, because every time Kerp had moved away in the past, Super Crew pushed it up, hit it a few times, so they knew it was going to go down. Therefore, they pick up a Dragon, and both summoners gone for MrRalleZ.
Which just opens him up for another Twisted Fate gank as soon as Destiny comes back off cooldown. Although Kerp losing out on his tower, that may force him to be a little bit more careful as to where he goes on this next time around. Millennium, of course, still without a tower kill to their name. Not exactly been prioritizing that here, not being able to push any of these waves so heavily onto the turrets that they could get damage. One thing that they do finally get, though, is their own red buff back.
Yeah, first time they get it here. Twice before Impaler took it away from them. Subaru though, pushing onto the spot tower. Creaton will join in with Jree, and there's a Bloodthirst onto Creaton now, so he's gonna look to stack it up and then be very, very strong. So we could potentially see Jree trying to start a fight just with Creaton and go in for the kill.
As SELFIE started to roam towards bottom, but found himself a pink ward there in the Death Brush, so knows that he'll have been spotted early enough. No real need to go any further on that. Meanwhile, this top lane still not evening out, although staying at the similar scenario that it was from before, with Kevin leading by about 10 CS, and actually lets that wave push all the way out until it meets his own wave, so that Mimer has to come further up that lane and puts himself in more danger therefore.
Seeing as there's only one ward up in this top side for Subaru, Mimer won't be able to just push the wave out unless Impaler helps him. But Impaler's been staying around this mid lane a lot this game here, making sure SELFIE got all the farm and making sure they could get some damage onto the mid tower every time the Kerp was gone. But now, wewillfailer taking some damage.
Oh, and he once again, and look at MrRalleZ going incredibly low. The ultimate came out early there from Creaton, and with the fact that they moved off to the side, he just cancelled that, knowing that it wasn't going to get any more hits on him. But we see that when you're ahead in that kind of lane matchup, Jree just dives in every possibility.
And when there's no summoners on the enemy AD carry, you're level above him, you have Bloodthirster, you didn't complete the Blade yet, you're so much stronger, of course. Also Lucian, such a strong laning champion. Millennium just knew they would go straight for the fight here, and it worked for them.
Kerp's Destiny is available. Keep our eye on that, being pretty active and going down to that bottom lane both times, almost securing a kill the second time around as well. However, now the Super Hot crew moving to the top, moving towards that red buff that they had control of earlier on. This time we'll see that it's already gone from them, but they're going to come up towards that top lane. Kevin, already spotting that that was happening, has already backed away completely.
Yeah, they were trying to see if he was doing the golems again. He's been doing them throughout the entire game, actually. Every time he had the chance, take the golems, go back to your lane, get a bit more farm here. So they were just seeing if he was there, and also, of course, got to make sure they can now see the red buff next time it spawns on the minimap.
And there will be the first tower of the game as well for Millennium. Creaton just making sure that his entire wave was taken down before finishing off that turret. So that leaves Millennium in a solid position. About 2,000 gold ahead of the Super Hot crew. Have both of the kills to their name, one with Twisted Fate, one with Lee Sin. So everything really going to plan for them up until now.
And Super Hot crew, of course, just want to scale up into this late game point. But on the side of Millennium, they're not a bad team in the late game either. I mean, Aurelia is a very strong team fighting Bruce in the late game. Twisted Fate, we know how strong he becomes with items. Lich Bane, Deathcap, DFG even, like pretty much everything makes him so much stronger. He scales so well with the items into the late game. And Lucian, we always talk about how he's an all-around strong AD carry. So it's not like Millennium have a bad late game setup here, but SUPA Crew for now basically just want to try and farm up as much as possible, get the right items on to MrRalleZ so he can start sneaking around, and of course SELFIE to make sure he becomes very, very strong.
Oh, he's sneaking around, actually missing all the damage. He's going to get locked up here by the Solar Flare. Will get away with the Lantern, but not get away to safety. And now it's wewillfailer in trouble as a follow-through comes in. Intervention was used, but the stun card comes down. Millennium picking up 2 kills there in the mid lane. We didn't see in the top lane, but actually Impaler went and ganked there and got them a kill back. First of the game, in fact, for the SUPA Crew.
Yeah, but weird decision from SUPA Crew. After the blue buff, SELFIE and Impaler moved towards the top side, while MrRalleZ was roaming in here into the mid lane, trying to set up a kill with no backup except for just wewillfailer. So as soon as Millennium saw it, and they knew there were multiple members already, could just turn it around, pick up the kill. You see actually up in the top lane here, Mimer taking the fight with Kevin because he knows Impaler is coming. SELFIE already backed away. He moved up there at first, went back into the mid lane once MrRalleZ actually died, and they can just pick up the kill here. So Impaler getting a kill at least for the team.
Doing well there, Kevin, to stay alive as long as he did. Almost even escaping that one, but almost not good enough for him. That's the first kill, as I said, of the game for the SUPA Crew. It's now problems down in the bottom lane once again. Destiny's going to come in. wewillfailer got nothing to work with here, and Kerp picks up his 3rd kill of the match.
Just throwing back the Lantern to MrRalleZ. Please die with me here. Of course, he didn't click it. They'd have this flash, therefore they could just go straight for wewillfailer and pick up another kill here. So Kerp on this Twisted Fate, we talk about high risk, high reward. It's definitely working for him now.
And he's not taking any risks with it.
No, this one has been safe.
They've made 3 versus 2 down in this bottom lane time and time again. As SELFIE are going to chase onto KottenX, but he can of course just get away onto that ward. They need some help here though in this mid lane because Mimer has now joined in. Turret's going to go low. The kick comes back down. Mimer will get the intervention early on, but will it be enough to save him? KottenX will follow through. Kevin chasing in as well, and actually Mimer had to use his flash to back away. Creaton coming around the back. Mimer sees it though thanks to that ward. And will they keep chasing him? Creaton's kind of alone there, and the Lantern either way will bring SELFIE back into his own jungle. Millennium not going to fight. They're actually stacking up around the Dragon.
But we see it again here for SUPA Crew. Every time Kerp ports away from the mid lane, they just push it up so fast. As many members as possible here. Dragon now is up. Millennium, they started. All 5 members here. Jax is in the base with teleport. He's coming in.
Oh, down to half HP. Jax is going to be on his way onto the top side. The ward that he put down just a few moments ago. Dragon falling low. He's taken by the SUPA Crew. Nice by Impaler. But can they get out of the fight? Kevin's actually falling low. Will maybe go down from that one. He does fall in the end to Twitch. And there is Kerp at the back. He gets himself another one. There's still a lot of damage to be done here. Kerp trying to get forward as wewillfailer misses the hook. And Millennium, are they going to keep going? Jax down at less than half HP. The Q from KottenX might get him. But in the end, Mimer just jumping away onto the minions. And now Millennium have 4 men to push this middle turret.
But if SUPA Crew can defend the tower here, definitely win for them with the Dragon and trading 1-for-1. SELFIE in this fight here before, he had 2 seconds on his ulti when he died. Unlucky for him, and Millennium respond, take down the tower here because they were healthier after the fight.
See Colin coming through to help push them away from it. Actually, pretty much the Spiderlings that tanked up all that damage. No, they weren't able to get any more kills, but as you said, the 2nd turret of the game. Currently tied on that front, but Millennium holding a 3,000 gold lead. That was a great Dragon steal though. Impaler coming in, managing to get that one, possibly keeps them in the game at this point.
Yeah, of course, if they've lost the Dragon here, traded 1-for-1, but also lost the mid tower, it would have been a big win for Millennium. They pulled even further ahead, so everything counts now. We keep talking about how they just want to scale up now. We even just saw the team fights. They are not that far behind. Trading 1-for-1 without the ulti on SELFIE. He died before he could actually use it because we're still on cooldown. So very close fights already for both teams.
Kevin moving out towards this bottom side. SELFIE, could he fight him at this point? Got himself the bow in there on top of his Nash's tooth. So he's going to start to do a lot of damage very quickly. We all know how Kayle, with each additional item, just becomes more and more of a threat. Jax has got his Blade of the Ruin King now finished, as does Twitch as well. So a point hit in the game, and as you mentioned, that last fight around Dragon definitely wasn't a bad fight for the Super Hot Crew. They got themselves a Dragon, traded 1 for 1 with a team that's only going to be getting stronger.
Definitely a good point for them. Just need to make sure they don't let Kerp roam around too much. I mean, it's been an issue for them in this game here. Of course, it's very hard to stop a Twisted Fate from teleporting on your face. But it's been the issue because he's been the guy to set the ganks up, get the kills here, and therefore turn everything to the side of Millennium so they could pick up towers as well in this bottom lane and also get the gold lead.
See them being very careful on the bottom side. That turret low and decided not to push in to finish it off in case anyone from Millennium just happened to be sat there waiting for them to really move in on things. Let's have a look down some of the items on Millennium's side as I covered the Super Hot Crew earlier on. We can see that Irelia moving up towards that Trinity Force, won't be too far away from completing that one. Kerp actually taking the Zhonya's Hourglass there after his Athenes.
So didn't want to go for straight death cap, rather felt that with the likes of Jax jumping onto him, with Twitch sneaking up onto you here, the Hourglass will do a lot more for him, and I can definitely see the idea. Just the armor itself is going to help a lot when MrRalleZ go for him. And ooh, ult missing from Jree here.
Not ideal, but those things can happen when you're trying to lock down SELFIE, who just speeds himself up and is able to just dash away from any of that damage and from the lockup as well. However, the Super Hot Crew not phased them. Why should they be? Solar Flare is now down. That gives them a little bit more
Creaton
freedom.
in the bot lane won't be able to help the team wave clear in his mid lane, but for now they're just moving around, going towards his top side, where Mimer has built up quite a wave. However, Millennium should be able to come up and actually defend it.
Will they though? They are to take the long route around, and Kevin actually using his ultimate to make sure that that wave doesn't get towards the tower and allow the Super Hot Crew any free damage. But it's definitely the Super Hot Crew at this point, at this very point in the game, that are dictating where the pressure is being put on. A Millennium just playing quite reactive to this, moving up to the top, coming back down to the mid laners, following Super Hot Crew's lead almost.
It's also because Millennium is just waiting for someone to overextend from Super Hot Crew so Kerp can teleport down towards them. That's why we saw Creaton in the bottom lane, we saw Kevin in the top lane, waiting for something to happen. If one person moves up and tries to one-on-one anyone from Millennium, Kerp is going to join in instantly and turn it around. So they were just waiting for a chance to make a play with Twisted Fate. But because Super Hot Crew were grouping together, except for of course Mimer in the top lane, which could easily go up and help, they couldn't actually make any plays and just waited out and saw, okay, they're pushing top, fine, easy, we just cleared a wave.
So, as we were talking about items before, Kevin has now got that Trinity Force done and has pulled ahead in CS. We mentioned earlier it was hovering around 10 for the first 18 minutes or so of the game. He's now started to pull a bit more of a lead out. 30 CS up. We'll actually have a good go at this top tower. In fact, may even be able to take it. There's no one from the Super Hot Crew there.
Teleport ready in a few seconds will be too late for Mimer, so Kevin here actually getting a tower for himself. Mimer might be able to do the same at bottom. Twisted Fate coming in.
Destiny going to be used. Who are they going for? MrRalleZ, who gets locked up. Solar Flare comes in with a cull-in, and just like that, everything being piled on top of the AD carry. Kevin even taking the turret, TPing down to bottom to stop Mimer taking that one.
And here again, we just saw the whole game plan for Millennium. As soon as they saw SELFIE on the wards in the jungle around the blue buff of Super Hot Crew, teleport from Kerp. They knew, okay, Super Hot Crew, they're split up now, we can go in, win from MrRalleZ. The stealth does nothing because of Twisted Fate, locks him down with a stun, easy kill, and now pushing down towards this mid lane. So Millennium are just waiting and waiting for Super Hot Crew to make a move and then punish them.
A lot of poke coming in, but they still need to be careful of wewillfailer or Impaler even with his cocoon, locking one of them up to start things. The Hurricane is done for SELFIE as well, so he's going to be a little bit more of a problem when it comes to these team fights, which up until now we've only seen one or two big ones. However, you have to feel that we're getting to that stage of the game as the hook comes in onto KottenX. wewillfailer following through the boxes there. Leona may have to just back away from this one. KottenX actually kicking them towards Jree, which is not ideal. The hook will land onto Jree, and he will go down as well. And now they're going for Kevin. He gets locked up by Cocoon, flashes away to safety. And you have to feel that KottenX maybe have killed Jree there with that kick.
Yeah, and also Millennium, they stayed around, didn't know if they could help or if they just had to back away and leave KottenX to die by himself, but a very nice hook from wewillfailer, setting it up, going in, followed by Cocoon from Impaler, and Super Hot Crew just collapse onto Millennium. Pick up 2 kills and a mid tower here, so definitely responding and keeping fairly even in gold.
And it's really going to be bringing it back. 2 kills, getting that inner tower.
Even better.
Get themselves a dragon as well. That's spawning in at the perfect time for the Super Hot crew to finish this one off. And look at the gold jump here. Back to just 1,000 difference. Millennium still slightly ahead though.
So one very nice hook from wewillfailer, and Millennium a bit out of position, and everything just turns back into even from Super Hot crew. Is a very nice play. No teleport on Kevin, but Kerp can actually use his ulti down to this tower if he wants to try and save it. Seems though Mimer. Oh, he's going in for it.
Gonna go in.
Saves the tower.
Yeah, saves the tower at least for now, although those minions doing a lot of damage onto it. He's gonna have to quickly speed that one up, saves it with a slither of life still remaining on it. But Mimer, no risks really from that one. He could have probably stuck around and had it go onto the tower, but why risk giving Kerp a 5th kill? He's 4-0-3 again, coming up big for Millennium.
And we need to see team fights here from the side of Super Hot crew, with of course the Hurricanes onto Kale. Very, very strong team fighting build. We see it pretty much every time now. There is a Kale pick and it always works really well. However, one of the weaknesses of the build is actually the fact that if there's a lot of stuns on the other side, because you're so auto-attack independent, you will lose a lot of damage compared to the burst, death cap, DFG or whatever Kale we have seen beforehand, with just you focus on your Q damage and a few hits with a Lich Bane as the burst. You won't have the same thing here. You need time to stand there and hit. So if Millennium with Jree, with Kerp, locks him down, stuns him, he won't do a lot of damage.
Kerp actually running a elixir at this point as well, so definitely looking to get something going here on Millennium, as Mimer is finally going to get rid of that bottom turret that's been low for a long time by now. Feels like almost half of the game that turret has been within striking distance for the Super Hot crew. Puts them ahead on the turret front, brings them to within 400 gold, as well as the Zenith Blade not quite landed onto Impaler.
There's a good use of teleport advantage for Super Hot crew. Kevin's teleport just got up now, and with of course the ulti being down from Kerp as well, they knew Mimer could just return to this bottom lane, take the tower by himself. He could always join in for a fight here. So smart map play from Super Hot crew, making sure to get another tower.
Now we see the gold difference over time here. Super Hot crew actually doing pretty damn well with this now. That swing coming their way, and actually they're catching out Jree inside of the jungle, who tries to go aggressive from his side. And we see that SELFIE, we said it before that he's only going to be getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Now that needlessly large rod added in on top of his Nash's Tooth and the Hurricane as well.
Always very scary to deal with Kale in late game, but of course we talked about just before, when you build this auto attack based build, stun the target, the damage is gone. It's pretty much like stunning an AD carry. Of course, you won't be able to burst anyone, and therefore Millennium have tools to deal with him in team fights, but it's going to be very hard. And of course, with a Jax as well, jumping around with a Twitch with rat-a-tat-tat in the backside, going crazy on your team, it's not exactly easy to pick the right target.
Oh, he'll see a Destiny. Where's he going to go? Actually, underneath the turret, onto MrRalleZ, who takes a Lantern, but they're already on him. Zenith Blade comes in. wewillfailer locked up, flashes away. The Q lands out from KottenX. Max range for him, and now Mimer might be in trouble. Gold card pulled there for Kerp. Can they finish him off? Again, KottenX dives in for the triple. One more hit will do it!
Got it.
And Creaton gets it, and that's 4 men down here, and now they're on towards SELFIE as well. Uses an intervention. Can he land the Q here?
Should survive.
He survives. No ace just yet, but that was fantastically played out on Millennium.
Yeah, and how do you deal with a strong team fighting combo or strong team fighting Kale? You make sure when she's out of position, you just engage on the rest of the team here, and we just saw it again. Up in this top lane, SELFIE is farming, Kevin in the bot lane, teleporting in. Again, it's Kerp setting it up. As soon as Super Hot crew split up, he will join in. All down onto MrRalleZ, even though he takes lands and he flashes, still dies for it. And from here on, because Millennium are still so healthy, can just keep diving on. Good stun onto Mimer here, keep going for it. KottenX just staying behind the team, coming in, picks up another kill, and SELFIE just joins in the very end. By this time, there's no reason to join in, you're just gonna almost give up another kill.
Yeah, almost. The key word in that one. Only died once up until now. Actually has finished off his Zhonya's Hourglass, so that will certainly help things out moving forward. But compare that to his opposite number, Lich Bane done now for Kerp. We also see the Randuins coming out on the side of Millennium. One for KottenX in the jungle, one for Kevin's top lane Irelia as well, on top of his Trinity Force. So that's going to make these team fights that bit harder for the Super Hot crew. And honestly, MrRalleZ been a bit of a non-factor because Millennium have literally dove on him every single time.
Every time they have the chance, they use the ulti from Kerp, see where the rest of the members are, and just go straight for MrRalleZ, kill him instantly. He won't be able to do anything in the fights. And with this Randuin's Omen here for Kevin, we see he want to focus more on team fighting, and it's the style of Kevin. We talked about in the pregame how his CS numbers aren't always the best because you focus so much on running with the team and just fighting and not directly split pushing. This game, however, he's doing really well on farm.
Very solid, 238 CS. However, we see SELFIE again. Up over 300 CS on that Kayle for him, something that he's done time and time again with these Kayle picks. Millennium here, though, are going to be looking for their 5th turret of the game, moving towards that inner turret in the bottom lane, and actually the entire team going to move across there is the Destiny use. wewillfailer will be the target. Actually pulled the red card out there. It's not going to matter though, the slow is enough. Creaton will actually pick up that and get himself the killing spree.
Once again, SUPA crew is out of position and Millennium instantly just punish them, pick up another kill. It's been the story of the game here and it's the reason they are ahead now, and Kerp playing so well. They're going for SELFIE now.
Straight onto him, actually came away as the intervention was used. Teleport will also be used by Jax to get into the fight, and Millennium baiting that one out perfectly. Kevin doesn't have his available just yet, so it's not like he's going to be running off on his own. Although, there we go, the deep push out. KottenX kicks out SELFIE. He uses his Zhonya's, but I think it's going to be too late for him. MrRalleZ, the second focus. Can they finish him off? Ulti running from Kevin. He gets the double. Impaler will repel. Actually takes a lantern back to the fountain. Well, that's 2 kills. The mid lane of the AD carry both down. This is looking good for Millennium.
Looking very good once again. They're simply so strong in these fights. They're always finding the right targets. This time was KottenX actually going in. SELFIE already used his ulti on the last engage. Just kick him back here. Waited for the outlast. Picked up a kill. Went further and took inhibitor as well now. So Millennium using the Baron really well.
So, once again, KottenX getting straight in there. SELFIE being locked up and almost was killed before he was able to use his own Zhonya's.
And from here on, as soon as he's dead, just chase on into the base. You don't really care about anything else but his damage at this point, because again, MrRalleZ has been shot down so hard. And Millennium, we can simply just praise them for the way they're playing the map here and the way they punish SUPA crew for being out of position every time.
And there's a ton of gold across the board here for Millennium. We see them pretty much all recalling as Mimer and Impaler trying to set up a bit of a trap inside of that Millennium jungle, but doesn't seem like Millennium are going to be falling too much for that one. Not really moving down towards that area, although Creaton is going to move through. They're going to spot him with the ward. Can they lock him up? There's a cocoon landing. Creaton's dead. No way he's getting away from this one. Almost called it a little bit too early there. SELFIE now being caught out as well. He's used an early intervention. There's a lantern down. Kevin was flanking from the bottom side. Not enough in the end, though, to lock up another kill.
So SUPA crew very patient here. We're just waiting for Creaton to move towards the red buff. Thought he could just pick it up by himself. So get the kill now and push up towards this mid lane.
Are they going to be able to defend this one? A little bit split here on Millennium, and those turrets going to be melted extremely quick with Jax there, with Twitch now joining the party as well. Do Millennium want to fight? It's 5v4, of course. There's a hook on towards Jree. Cocoon, Flay, lots going towards Jree, but not the target they were looking for. And then we see them powering on out of there. No more fights wanted from the Super Hot Crew side.
Yeah, they need to back away the bot lane as well as pushing heavily towards the Nexus. So Millennium chasing up here. Creaton all the way coming all the way from the base. SUPA crew, they're looking for a fight.
Oh, Flash Cocoon, it's been sidestepped there, and now they're going to turn it around. Mimer going to get stocked up as Kevin there. The back has gone a little bit too deep, you feel. Will be finished off by MrRalleZ. Mimer will use the intervention on himself. Creaton now finally gets involved. Who are they going to go for? Jree's dove right into them again as the Cullen going to come flying out. Have they got the damage? SELFIE's going to take the Zhonya's, but the Nexus turrets are already being pushed down here. Those super minions destroying the Super Hot Crew base. Will they be able to get back? Twisted Fate is going to ultimate. Comes in at the side though, didn't have the range to go all the way through into the base, but he may be able to hold them off long enough. I don't think so. The super minions now bashed away by Mimer.
So even though Millennium lost Kevin in this fight here, they managed to stay alive with the rest of the members and wait for their super minions in this bottom lane to do all the work. There was no teleport on Mimer, so he had to run with the team. Couldn't be in this bot lane here to push it out. It was actually the reason SUPA crew backed away from the mid lane in the first time, but then Millennium just chased him because they knew the super minions in this bottom lane here could do all the work, and it worked for them. They simply had to sacrifice Kevin. Worth it.
Worth it, yeah. I think Kevin will have no problem with going down for that one. They managed to take down both Nexus turrets. Bit of a hole now in the Super Hot Crew base, that's for sure. As they pushed up this bottom wave, they need to keep it further up that lane though.
Yeah, you're against the Twisted Fate with Lich Bane. doing a lot of damage to your Nexus. In case a fight should happen and Kerp is like, nope, not gonna join in, just gonna go straight for your base and just backdoor you and win the game. So very scary stuff here for Super Hot Crew without the Nexus turrets.
Actually moving in towards the Baron area, which they've got pretty much entire control of. We just heard there that the inhibitor will be coming up once again in just a couple of moments for the Super Hot Crew. That'll be a brief respite for him. Stop those super minions coming down. We can see that Mimer has actually pushed that wave all the way up to the river, so wants to keep them as far away as possible from the base. They are, however, possibly going to lose an inner turret here in this top lane.
Defending it for now here with the little amount or low amount of wave play they have, or of course with SELFIE, as long as he gets to the minions he can do a lot, but it's a bit scary for him as long as Millennium is staying around. That's why we saw before he just had to wait back a little bit, let Millennium hit, but once he gets to the minions, of course he will just destroy them with the Hurricane pretty much instantly.
Kerp started to recall there. They actually do need to recall because we can see that Mimer already onto that inner turret. Does finally stop a Millennium not sent. Oh, I tell a lie, Kevin did recall in that, so that actually leaves them at 5 versus 4 here for Baron. However, both top laners do have teleport. We are going to see them both coming in. Jree going in at the back there with the solar flare. There's the Twisted Fate ultimate coming out, and he's actually going to be left at the back on his own. Pops himself the Zhonya's. Can they get in there to defend him? MrRalleZ gets the intervention on him. That's a lot more damage, but the Super Hot Crew being picked off one by one here. Impaler will be the next one. He will go down after his repel sends him right back on top of the team.
They can finish
triple kill for Creaton, and surely indeed they can finish this one now. They need to kill the Indian first though.
But such a weird fight from Super Hot Crew. They start the Baron, even though Kevin had teleport, could just instantly join in with the rest of the team, and then just ran in different positions. Now going for SELFIE.
Oh, that Zhonya's may just cost him his life here. I thought if he'd have just walked away from it, Kevin might not have been able to finish him off. It doesn't matter. Zhonya's is going to be the death of him. The inhibitor is going to go down. A Millennium with just wewillfailer to really protect the Super Hot Crew base are going to walk straight through, take down the Nexus, and pick up a valuable win here against the Super Hot Crew.
Every single ulti from Kerp in this game here gave kills over to Millennium, gave them objectives, gave map pressure. He was so strong in the early game, in the mid game, and every time Super Hot Crew out of position, well, Kerp was like, I'm just gonna ult with the rest of my team, go in, kill MrRalleZ, make sure we win the team fights, and therefore also win the game.
And the questions that we had before, we talked about Millennium being a very solid mid-table team, and that they had to kind of prove, I think, to themselves more than anyone else, of course, that they could beat teams like the Super Hot Crew themselves. They're having a great run up at the top of the table, and they did it in an impressive way here. 19 kills to 8 by the end of it, and really the lead that they built up early on, even though we were expecting this power spike out of the Super Hot Crew, we were expecting them to get stronger and stronger and stronger, the lead that they had carried them through the entire game.
And also the fact they delayed the power spikes for such a long time because they kept making plays on the map. Every time Super Hot Crew went to farm a lane, to, again, just straight single farm a lane. Normally you would like, yeah, it's fine, I can just take this farm here. But every time Super Hot Crew went for the farm, Millennium would punish them somewhere else on the map. And that's full credit to them playing the comp really well and also have some very strong team fights overall.
But Millennium need to do this more often. They need to show to themselves, as I said before, that they can win 2 games in a row. I mean, if you look back to week 1, everyone was like, wow, Millennium this season looking incredibly, incredibly good. Only lost 1 game out of the first 4 in Super Week. Since then, it's been inconsistent. Again, the word of the day almost, up and down for them completely, but this win against the Super Hot Crew, definitely a vital confidence booster, if nothing else.
Especially with the way they played the game. I mean, this is not Super Hot Crew directly losing the game by themselves. This is actually Millennium playing really well, knowing how to play with the Twisted Fate, knowing how to play the map, and therefore take advantage of every situation and win the game. So credit to Millennium. But as you just said, we need to see it more often. Same thing for Super Hot Crew, of course. They also need to be more consistent.
Well, we do have Shocks on stage with Creaton from Millennium after that win, so let's send it over.
Thank you very much, Joe. Indeed, joined by Creaton after that win, and dare I say, much needed win from Millennium. Tell us a little bit about the mindset going into this game, because it hasn't been going so well the last couple of games.
We had a plan to play 2v2 and 1v1, but the lane swapped versus us. I'm not sure why. And to be honest, we came to this game without a plan. We just tried to play the normal swap game as good as we could. And it actually worked out. Twitch was really behind the whole game, and I think that led us to victory.
You did manage to catch a lot of people out at a lot of times. Was that how the comp came together going into the game?
Actually, we were like, we know that Kelly's gonna split push and TF is really good against it, and we tried to stop them split pushing, but I think there was never a point that she could actually split push because she would just die all the time, and I think like TF was the best option for a like pick up people comp.
Yeah, absolutely. Last question for you guys. Obviously, you needed this win. Tell me what the difference is, because I talked to you in week 1 where you guys were doing so well. What kind of changed over the next couple of games that you lost that spark from week 1?
I think after first week we started to play more carefully and just really cautious, and right now we just try to get the best out of something we can get, and what can we do afterwards and try to get it as well. And I think it's working really good so far.
And it is in this game, absolutely. Thank you very much, Creaton.
Thank you.
Now, don't go anywhere, because after the break, we're going to break down this game, and it's time for first place Alliance to play versus Gambit. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in 3.5.
Oh, he's sneaking around, actually missing all the damage. He's going to get locked up here by the Solar Flare. Will get away with the Lantern, but not get away to safety.
Twisted Fate coming in.
Destiny going to be used. Who are they going for? MrRalleZ gets locked up. Solar Flare comes in with a call-in. Destiny used. wewillfailer will be the target. Actually pulled the red card out there. It's not going to matter, though. The slow is enough.
Failer? Just one Failer fast. It's fine.
Ralles. Help.
Mimer. Kill Mimer. Impaler. Here. Kaylee's here. Kaylee, kill her. Finish. Ignore. Okay, let's finish. Nice.